guys, welcome back to Godzillathon, and yep, this is a quick one because, well, it's a quick week actually because I just did 3. I'm doing the 3rd episode of this week. Just, well, obviously, it's just, I still gotta hurry, because April and May is a problem for me, and somewhere in the middle of April will be the last episode, May, I'm sorry. Because sometimes in April, I got a lot of studying to do, a lot to deal with. So, yeah, it's a little complicated for me, so, yeah. There will be 2 episodes, like, in April, obviously, and then the finale will be in May, which is, like, the last one, obviously, so. But with that being said, we are now on episode 31 of Godzillathon, and Toho and it feels like Toho came back with this movie, Shin Godzilla, or Godzilla Resurgence as the original title, or as what I called it right here, Shin Godzilla Resurgence. That's my title, Shin Godzilla Resurgence, as, like, whatever I can, because now, Shin stands for True, New, God, or sometimes Evolved Godzilla. That's because this movie is directed by the guy who directed the Everglade or something, I don't know. And the second director is the guy who is the one who's actually the special effects director of the Heisei Gamera trilogy and GMK. So it's no coincidence. No, it's not directed by Shosuke Kaneko. So I'm trying to find the man online, which I'll get to it soon. Now, before I want to start this episode or whatever, well, first of all, I actually like this movie. I do not understand the hate with this movie. So, and this is probably the only Godzilla movie I could ever think of that won Best Picture. And presumably the only monster movie that won Best Picture. Wow, King Kong ain't got shit on Godzilla because this movie actually won so many Academy Awards and Best Picture. It's no coincidence. So, the directors are Hideaki Anno and Shinji Higuchi. So that's the director's name. So, and the characters are just awesome or something like that. So, well, before I want to get started in this episode, I really want to talk about my backstory, my experience before this movie comes out. So, this is when I was a junior in high school. I was a junior back in 2016. There was one week that this was the time during the time around my birthday, the same month in October. We were doing the week after my birthday. We were doing a play performance called Kabuki Lady Macbeth. So, it's a Shakespearean a Shakespearean type play. We do the Japanese version, the Kabuki version. Kabuki is a Japanese play, if you don't realize. One of the weeks is what I like to call the Asian week. Especially, because that entire week we were doing, rehearsing Macbeth on stage. One of the days I went to Samurai for dinner. Another time, for school, I went to my mother's office, and we had PF Change or something like that. But one of these days, on that week, I went to the movies to see Shin Godzilla. I went to see this movie, and I fucking love it. I just love it. There are pretty much disappointing things I could not deal with, honestly, simply because, I don't know, you guys should know. There could be answers to that. So, and yes, this movie is part of my top 10 favorite Godzilla movies, just not my number 1 favorite, honestly. I already told you what my number 1 favorite. I don't need to go over it again. So, yeah. So, I went to see Shin Godzilla with one of my friends, and we loved it. So, there's that. So, I mean, it's not part of my top 5 favorites, but it's part of my top 10. So it's still up there. So without further ado, I really want to go over this movie already. I actually got my backstory and I gotta hurry up. So without further ado, let's get to it. So the movie opens up in the Japanese Coast Guard, the boards in a small boat, like somewhere around Tokyo Harbor. This movie, when I first saw this, I was thinking like, okay, is it kind of like when you see the cameras, like some camera thing or something, like what we saw from the Cloverfield? I mean, do you really have to do that again? I mean, I'm kind of disappointed. I was originally disappointed, but no, it's not going to be like that the whole film. It's going to be there's like a little bit of that idea. So, anyway, that's where the movie opens up, somewhere in the coast, and they felt like an earthquake, like there's a lot of explosion around the Tokyo Bay or something like that. So, like the coast, like ocean or something. So during the tunnel, like under the ocean or something like that, there's like blood spreading everywhere around the vehicles and everything. I mean, yeah, that's kind of gross. That's really, really gross, to be honest. Like it was kind of interesting. So, and then we meet we meet the characters of this movie. One of them was named Rando Yajuchi. Rando Yajuchi, played by Hiroda Hasegawa. He's a pretty good actor, to be honest. So, and then the other one, I kept forgetting his name. Here it is. Kenjo. Another one is Yosuke Shim something. I don't know. Played by Kengo Koda. So he's when I first saw him in the trailers, I first like he was gonna be the villain of the movie, but no, he's not. There are no antagonist humans in the movie, to be honest. Like that's okay. Discussing like, oh, there was like some kind of earthquake or something spreading out through the world or something. I don't know what the fuck. So there's like conversations, politics, and anything going on with this movie. So I mean, this is really going back to the Donald Trump bullshit of the politicians. Like I know a lot of people hate politicians, to be honest, but yeah, I'm kind of in the same level with some people or something, like the whole politician stuff like that. So I guess that works well for it. I don't know. We also meet the prime minister. So there's also the prime minister of the movie named Suri. Yeah, Prime Minister Suri. Played by Ren Osugi. It's kind of sad that he actually passed away last year. That was really sad. I was really sad to hear this, that he passed away last year. I mean, it was an emotional thing. But anyway, so we meet the prime minister of the movie. We like talking about like, oh, there's like he doesn't know what's going on, and blah 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 blah, or some bullshit. I don't know. We go back to the tunnel. We see a lot of people covered in dirt and stuff. I mean, I feel like they were covered in blood or some shit. I don't know. They hear foot stomps and stuff like that. Like I totally get what's going on. I mean, during the theaters is like it feels like there was no music. No music has started until we get to the actual people start running and stuff like that. Going back to the politicians bullshit. Yep. There are 5 explosions like during the distance of a first form type creature. I don't know. That's pretty dull and stuff like that. A lot of people. So next we see like a giant tail and stuff like that, and people said. So one of the guys who works in the office with the prime minister goes, "Turn on the TV, turn it on," and sort of turn it on or something like that. So the news going on. It's like it goes, "What is that? A tail or something?" I mean, it's pretty cool. It was a pretty cool thing right there. So anyway, so there's that. So and then the creature starts to so the thing that they are looking at starts to move and stuff like that. We meet another character, one of the another female character played by Mikako Ichikawa. So that's her name. Honestly, like so that's the character, that's the actress's name, and her character's name is Hiroma Oz Ogashira. That's the actress's name for that character. She's like really like she's super serious in this movie, like really serious. But during the blooper reels, during the blooper cuts, like first when I saw the special feature, she tried so hard to keep serious, but what some lines, what these guys keep saying, just makes her laugh, and like so many actors were laughing at some of the lines and stuff like that. There are a lot of blooper reels of this movie, which we'll get to that like at the end of this video, at the end of this review. So the prime minister was on the roll stating like, telling everyone like in that conference room, stating like there would never be like the creature would be defeated, stuff like that. But just to let you know, it would not reach and land or stuff like that. Some guy came up saying, "Oh, it actually did," and he's like, "What? It has?" So we see a lot of people running, which is the same shot we saw in the first teaser trailer of this movie. And not to mention the first music we hear, probably the best music of the movie, "Persecution of the Masses." That is so awesome. And then we finally get our first look at the creature, and wow, that looks like shit. Like, it looks like shit. What is that thing? So basically, the creature. So that's supposed to be kook. I don't even know how to pronounce that creature right. I mean, there were two creatures we saw. The second and third, honestly. I mean, the first form is supposed to be in the ocean and stuff like that. Now it's second form right there. I don't even know what these creatures are supposed to be called. I don't know what this thing is supposed to be called when it's on ground or something like that, or how it turns bigger. I don't even know what the names of these type creatures. So I'm just gonna call them Shin Godzilla. Shingoji's the creature. It starts walking like an Anguirus type walking form. It's so silly. Actually, yes. I mean, sure. If this thing was real, I would definitely shit my pants. But to be clearly honest, like looking at this thing, like it looks so silly. It's so silly. So I mean, of course he's definitely scattering blood out from his gills all over the city. Yes, he's like spraying blood from his gills. That's gross. So, but with persecution of the masses, are like, it's so great. So, more politicians dealing with like, oh, what the hell is going on here, or what the fuck, like. So when this creature stops on an angle, like he starts standing up, and by the way, the audience start to laugh, including myself. When we first saw this movie, I was in this movie with a huge crowd of fans and a huge crowd of Godzilla fans. We were all laughing at this point because when he starts standing up, he doesn't have any arms. Like, it looks so silly. Like, he stops right there for some odd reason. And he starts transforming like to walk on his 2 feet like usually. But I thought the arms start growing would be a little bit gruesome and grimish or something. But it didn't do much. And his skin changed from the tan ice color to red. And of course we hear the classic 54 Gojira roar. Like, yeah, that's kind of lazy. I feel like this movie really should come up with a different roar, a combination between the Millennium and Legendary roar. That would have been so great. That would have been like an epic Godzilla roar for the creature in his main form, Shin. But And Rando says, like, our main character, he says, "Wow, incredible." Randall sounds like incredible. So, by the way, guys, I want to tell you something. When I first saw this movie, I actually watched the the actual audio and stuff like that. I actually did see the English dubbed, and I saw it only once. I hated the English dub so bad. It's better if you just like with Godzilla Final Wars, it's better if you watch the Japanese version. Like usually you should. But anyway, so this thing starts walking. Helicopters were ready to fire against their target. Unfortunately, they saw the people start. There's two people walking like in danger or stuff like that. When the creatures evolve, the Prime Minister is like, "No, hold your position. Report back to me at once." Because he doesn't want to risk anyone to die or something like that. So the creature's spine starts glowing. He roars and heads back to the sea in a fast pace. So there's that. And the creature went back to the sea. Wow. So we move on to the next day, which I don't know why it changed seconds. Like, oh, nighttime, but then a few seconds later, daytime again, and some cheesy music is like stating of the events after the creature attacks. We get a glimpse of all these characters, some of the people who work in the office of politicians, looking at all the destruction. Even Rando was looking at the destruction, just left alone and stuff like that. He's our main protagonist, yeah. By the way, I never even mentioned this previously, but this movie is specifically based off of the events of the earthquake, the horrible things that happened with Tokyo. That was several years ago. The earthquake, the tidal waves, and everything. All those bad influences. This is what this movie is coming from. All right. So no events of the original 1954. Nothing that happened in 1954. There's none of that. Like there is no mentioning of Godzilla attacking in Japan in the 50s, no Dr. Serizawa or anything. No, this is a total reboot, specifically basing off of those terrible events back then, a few years ago in Japan, like 4, 5, 6, I don't know, 6 years ago. No, I think 7 years ago. Holy shit, that was a long time ago. But anyway, so yeah, that's what this movie is based off. They never made any movies about specifically about this until they had to wait for 2014 Godzilla to come out. But anyway, so there was like a whole conversation stated like, oh, we got we're just like Rando asked for a meeting like it's some kind of like conference room and stuff, and so there was one meeting thing that just happened, whatever. So we hear this guy like screaming like ah! like he did something that's like he was like I did it or something, but no, he was like shocked. He's like saying, "Is that possible?" Or it's so funny right there. I couldn't stop laughing. This is one of the most funniest moments. Speaking of funny wise, I never mentioned that guy running in Shin Godzilla when the creature attacks somewhere in the beginning, there's like boats and everything going near this guy, and he starts running. The audience that was with that time were laughing their asses off. It was just so funny. But anyway, so there was like a whole thing that's going on that's just nuts and stuff like that, stating like, "Oh, is that possible?" And I mean, it's hard to experience what the hell was going on there. So then the Prime Minister, Shuri, talks to President Ross. Like, is that one of our previous presidents or something? Like, why is President Ross or something? That it comes out of nowhere. Why couldn't they send a recent president like Obama or George Bush or fucking Trump or something? But no, this is like a total different continuity or something. So there was a little bit of English speaking from the Prime Minister speaking English in the actual dubbing. But I mean, which I'll get to that hilarious thing in a moment soon in a few minutes. But anyway, so the one of the one of the like the assistants who's for the U.S. president for the aid ask wants Rando to come to a meeting for a meeting or something. So like only asking him. As it turns out, it's oh holy shit! Wow, holy crap! I cannot stop staring at this one because the one who's asking a meeting with Randall is a fucking chick. Oh my god, I can't stop. That she is so fucking gorgeous. Oh my god, she's just hot. So yes, our main female character is well rumored to be president of the U.S. later on, which we never saw. Her name is Kayoko Ani Patterson, played by Satomi Ishihara. Holy shit, she is so fucking hot. I love her. She is my favorite female character in the Godzilla franchise because she is just so gorgeous. I cannot stop looking at her. And it's even stated that she has the prettiest face in Japan today. Like the prettiest face. And I totally agree. She is just I love her. I really love her. So she asked for a meeting with Rando in the scene, asking about like the events or whatever and stuff like that. And she starts. This is gonna be a real twist. She speaks English, like translation in English, like say, just U.S. Japan. So win-win. And yet Rando speaks English, saying, "Understood. Let's get to it." And she's like, "Thank you." Like, it's actual English in the main dub of this film. And yes, in the Japan, I'm sure all of you remember that. I'm sure most of you people remember that scene. That is awesome. So yeah, she's pretty young, and she's the Senator Patterson's daughter. No coincidence. She gave like a note thing to Randall about the code name, stating like Godzilla, and she goes, "That's right, did something with code name Godzilla." So and then translate in Japan says Gojira. Gojira. Wow, that is just. I mean, we know the name Gojira, like usually we do. So, anyways. So everyone stated like, "Oh, that's what we're gonna call this creature that attacked previously, Gojira, or Godzilla." So and during the meeting or something, then in the same conference room where Randall had a meeting with a few people, and that same room with a guy. So Kayoko joins in to help out the meeting and stuff like that, and try to help out or something like that. So here's a real twist. Here's another fact. Kayoko in this movie is the love interest to Rando, the main character of the movie. So I would love to see them get into a real relationship if they're gonna make a sequel to this movie, which I wanted so bad is a sequel to this movie. Like any event doesn't have to be called Shin Godzilla 2. No need for it. But have another Godzilla fight Shin Godzilla while bringing Kayoko into that movie with Rando soon enough in the future. I want to see that type in the future. So I already know. So which I'll get to that soon. So then on the night or something like that, we see like there's like a huge crowd of people saying Godzilla is gone or blah 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 blah. So I guess this is basing off of the toxic fandom. I guess this is really basing off the fans of Godzilla stating like, "Oh, Godzilla is our god" or something like that. While in reality, what we are, the fans stating like Godzilla is the best monster in the universe or whatever it is. That's what we Godzilla fans are meant to be. Even though I'm not in this toxic thing or whatever, I'm just one of those fans who's so respectful and cared much about every other fandoms. And the next day, Godzilla attacks again, and this time in his actual form, what he's supposed to represent in the movie, and we get to hear the recycling, the Akira Ifukube musics. I never mentioned that there were a few Akira Ifukube musics from Showa Godzilla films, like when his in the second form where we see him turn into like his the third form, like growing arms or something like that. We hear one of those themes that actually came from probably from the original film, and then of course then Shin got. So that's what we saw. This one is more like the theme from King Kong vs. Godzilla, and then later on we hear the theme of Terra Mechagodzilla, which I absolutely love. Da 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 da. You know what I mean by, but I love that. I love how they do put back like classic Akira Ifukube musics. Like usually they do that. I want to see more of that soon. But anyway, the military is the same helicopters we saw in the previous film, I'm sorry. The previous segments or whatever, like a while ago. I'm sorry. Attacking Shin Godzilla, and so for some reason they try firing or something like that. But Godzilla's skin, it sounds like they're firing at metal. That doesn't sound right. Godzilla's skin, of course, is supposed to be thick and like indestructible, but this feels like metal and stuff. So I did want to mention that Godzilla does look like, it doesn't feel Godzilla-ish at all. It looks too much like Godzilla in this movie looks too much like a zombie, which yeah, it's true. And he's glowing red, kind of like burning Godzilla. So tanks starting to fire other like humongous firepower against Shin, but the thing is that unfortunately it never works. Like none of your jack shit can work on this big G right here. So anyway, with that segment just happened, like a building just started. We're not building a part of a bridge starts flying and crushed one of the tanks. That shockingly, one of that guy is actually survived that shit. I don't know why. Later at night, we see Shin like glowing red all over the place, and so Rando and some other employees from the office wanted to evacuate underground while the Prime Minister is on the building trying to get to a helicopter. So the U.S. force dropped bombs onto Shin, and he's bleeding everywhere. Do we really need that much blood? King Kong 1976 remake was bad enough to throw gorish inside there, but this is ridiculous. So anyways, this roar thing, it looks like, so I first think it was a puppet type or something like that, but I never talked about the effects, but which I'll get to it soon. So anyways, Shin starts putting his head down, looking to the ground, while his red glowing shit, whatever, including his dorsal spine, starts glowing purple, from red to purple, and we get to hear that incredible "Who Will Know" song. It's so powerful that it literally becomes something of a holy shit, you're really killing us. It's not just like it's a powerful song. It's like evil. It's so evil that Shin was able to blast his atomic breath and stuff like that from red. Well, first we saw the gas and smoke or whatever, the smoke of gas, and then we see like him firing his atomic breath that's basically red usually, like going all over the place, and then a thin type atomic breath from his mouth, and it's just so like incredible. And he breathes up into the sky and kill one of the U.S. Planes. So the U.S. president was like, "What the hell's going on? That's impossible!" And then of course Kayoko was upset hearing this situation, and she was like, "Godzilla, a god incarnate, a city of doom." Just like the tagline title of the movie, which I never mentioned, a, a god incarnate, a city of doom. So U.S. forces drop more bombs. Then Godzilla fires a bunch of beams from his dorsal fins. We've never seen anything like this before, and killed 2 U.S. forces and destroyed those bombs. Then he did his thin atomic breath again, and this time he killed he destroyed that helicopter. The helicopter that the prime minister was in. Holy shit! Like all of us were like, oh damn it! Like he killed the prime minister in the movie. So yeah, that sucks. So Prime Minister, one of our major characters, is dead, and then Shin actually just goes back to sleep. Yeah, that's what he stayed there for a moment, and well, I never mentioned that during the firing or whatever, his eye was closed down as like a shield protector or whatever. Fuck it, I don't know. So yeah, that was powerful right there. So anyways, so I did forget to mention that during the attack when Godzilla was about to do his atomic breath, I did want to mention when I first saw him ready to attack, that bottom jaw splitting half thing really disturbed me. Like I wanted to vomit. Like I was eating popcorn during that time I was in the theater, and I almost want to I almost wanted to gag out when he does that, because it was pretty disturbing and all. But anyway, so once the attack is over, Rando was getting all pissed that all the people from most people from the office and stuff like that, including the prime minister, are all dead. So he was pissed that he lost the prime minister or something. So so then we can focus on the new prime minister. I don't know what's his name. So when he looks down at his noodles, he goes, "Oh, it's soggy. I knew this job wouldn't be easy." The entire audience, including myself, were laughing so much. It was probably the best part that was probably the funniest part of the movie. I cannot stop laughing at that part. Oh my god, it was so funny. So, Kayoko arrived to the office of where the prime minister used to be at before he dies, stating like if she wants to use the Americans, some other people like Americans, China, Russia, and maybe Germany, I guess, to help out like the whole statement of Godzilla attacking. So they were like, okay, sure. So the ambassadors of America, China, and Russia, maybe Germany, came by, and they were stating like some kind of a drone or anything to look up on Godzilla while he's sleeping. So, but then signal gone weak, probably because it was destroyed. No wireless network or something. Godzilla's really strong in that point. So, and while there are a few scientists going deep down to near Godzilla himself, they found one of his dorsal plates. It starts bleeding or something like that. I was thinking that they could make a sequel. It would build up to Biollante, like maybe or sometime or another. But I'll get to the whole point of the sequel soon enough. All right. So, anyways, that's pretty much what I could see right there. I mean, they were studying on the flesh, right where Shin left. I don't know. So Kayoko stated that she would not be returning to Japan or something, or she has to go back to America or something. Probably because she doesn't want to see the third bomb after the death of her grandmother during World War II. She doesn't want to live with that experience ever again. It could be a chance that if they make a sequel, and when she lost for president of the U.S., she'll have to go back or something. Maybe, I don't know, but it seems likely she did one. I don't know. So, anyways, that's pretty interesting right there. It's just nuts. It's really, really nuts. The entire movie is all about politicians. And by the way, I never even mentioned this in the beginning. I think I mentioned this in the beginning of the video, but did I ever said that all the characters in this, most of the cast members of this movie are the same cast members from the live action Attack on Titan? I don't think I remember. I don't think I remember saying that, but it was actually true. Most of the cast members are from Attack on Titan. Like most of them came from it. When the movie came out, it bombed. I think it bombed or something. I heard some people say it did not do justice or some. I don't know. Let me know in the comments if that's true. Attack on Titan did bomb that time. I don't know. But yeah, that's kind of weird. So now we get to some other informations of what's going on. All the whole conversations of the riddle, what they have discovered or something like that, like a riddle from Germany or something. I don't know. So like a discovery riddle, something like that. There was also this is probably the most hilarious thing that happened when I was in theaters seeing this. A night where we see Shin Godzilla sleep or something like that. The tail like starts to drop down. Like it was so quiet and stuff like that. And when it makes a sound dropping down, I shouted. I was like, and the fans were laughing so hard because that was so. I freaked out right there, and everyone else started laughing because they knew that was funny. I thought that was really funny, by the way. Oh my god. But anyway, so we cut to some other things. I'm gonna fast forward a little bit. Kyoko, or yeah, I think that's her name, Kyoko. Was in the conversation with the president of the U.S., President Ross, stating like the whole nuclear waste that it's been, the nuclear testings and all that stuff, the atomic testings back then, like they don't want to they don't want to talk about any of that stuff, or they don't want to deal with all that shit again. But she also mentions that they have ice chemical weapons to stop Godzilla, and he was like, okay, well, good luck. And she was like, yeah. So she decided to help Rando with all the work that they needed for the ice and stuff like that. All that shit we're trying to deal with. All these ice chemicalized weapons they can use to stop Godzilla. So Rando shouted out with the whole big speech of what he's going to deal with and stuff like that. All those, like, saying, like, oh, you're ready or something like that or something like that. I couldn't get the speech out loud because I can't even remember. Yeah, I can't remember what he says right now or stuff like that. But anyways, so it's complicated. So anyways, they use empty trains to wake up Godzilla with a mass explosion, stuff like that, with pretty much another Akira Ifukube music, but it's not. Well, it sounds like Invasion of the Astro Monsters theme, but no, it's not. It's from, I think that was Atragon's theme. So with a similar Astro Monster theme, the dun 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 dun, just a little faster, and Tony is different too. So this is not. So yes, it is composed by Akira Ifukube. Godzilla wakes. So anyways, trains explode near Godzilla. He wakes up like usually. All those planes, all the fighters are ready to attack Godzilla again. Godzilla blasts the beams from his dorsal plates again, and it just caused these guys a little bit of harm and everything. It destroys them until, like, when Godzilla's beams are destroyed, all the missiles are already fired at Godzilla big time just to damage him up. Then, of course, Godzilla blasts his atomic breath, like, thin-wise, and, yep, failed to work with it, buddy. But then there's a new ability. A beam from the tip of the tail. Okay, now that is silly, okay? I haven't seen something very silly like this since Godzilla playing soccer with Anguirus. Like, I haven't seen anything silly anything silly since this. But anyway, so when he's using all this firepower, they actually got him, like, put him to the ground, usually with all the buildings, like, exploding on the inside, and Godzilla the buildings collapsed on top of him, so, like, he was damaged down, and they're ready to use freeze weapons. It was so laughable that it looks like Godzilla was gonna have a dental disaster, because, I mean, yeah, it looks like they're gonna do teeth operation when I first saw this, and so did the people that were with me. Um, it's just so funny. Like it looks pretty funny, but then no, they're trying to freeze him and like put all the hoses inside his mouth just to freeze his entire body. So yeah, there you go. So that's the thing that we're trying to deal with. But until then, Godzilla gets back up and starts roaring like badly, like after blasting his atomic breath on the freeze weapons or something like that. It was pretty silly, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I said dental problem. I mean, he could use a dental problem. His teeth are fucked up. Like Godzilla has fucked up teeth. So they did it again, exploding trains all over him, and Godzilla collapsed into like some kind of a pentagon or something. But no, not Pentagon because that's in USA, but similar. So so they did it again. This time they did victoriously and 100%. So, but then when Godzilla gets back up, Godzilla like does the 1984 roar before being frozen, like for some weird reason. Something that could have been something that Kiryu could have done back then, but no, that never worked because the the absolute zero never worked that time. So this one's kind of similar up of absolute zero, except Godzilla's not collapsing or ice crushing him, whatever shit. So everyone won. They won victorious. Rando was like, "Yes, we did it!" So the town lives in peace, and Kayoko and Rando were having a conversation, saying like, "Oh, when I become president, you'll be my Japanese counterpart." And he's like, "No, rather your Japanese puppet." And she's like, "You know what? That sounds." She goes, "Okay, that sounds better," or something. I mean, like I said, I wish there could have been a relationship with these two. I mean, I wish. Like, if a sequel would happen, I want to see a relationship between the two, even though it seems unlikely. So, but then he's like, "Well, now it's not the time to quit. There's still work out there for me." So, and then quiet sound of looking at Godzilla's frozen body, and we see like the tail, like the tip of his tail emerging having so many weird bodies or something like that of coming out of Godzilla's tail. I was really confused. Like, I don't know what these creatures are meant to be. I think I read something up about it, but yeah, yeah, who gives a shit? I don't know. And then the movie ends with the classic Akira Ifukube's Godzilla theme, the 54th version. That's the end of the film. Overall, I think this movie is not that bad. I don't understand what's with the hate on everything that this film has gone through. I mean, this movie is not that bad. I don't know why this movie is getting a lot of hate, honestly. I feel like this is compliment of why like this movie is like so politician and whatever. But I don't think it's that bad. I actually enjoyed the hell out of this movie. Like, usually, yes, it's not the best Godzilla movie. I mean, I get it. But yes, and no, it's not the worst Godzilla movie either. Honestly, it's not. So, this movie is just, it won so many Academy Awards. Best screenwriter, best grand prize, best actor, best actress. Yeah, best actor, Hiroki Hasegawa, played by, of course, Rando. Best actress, played by Satomi Ishidara. She who played Kayoko, the girl I always love. She won. So another supporting actress, Mikako Ichikawa. She won on the 71st Manichi Film Awards for Best Actress right there. So it's really complicated with so many So it even won Best Director of the Year, of course, and surprisingly Best Picture. Holy shit! How many Academy Awards this movie won? this movie won Best Picture, and it was no surprise. King Kong ain't got shit, like usually. But with that being said, I think the movie is pretty good. I actually enjoyed the hell out of this movie. It was pretty good. I liked it. It's part of my top 10 favorites, obviously. I mean, think about it. It's probably the highest grossing film of 2016. Like usually, it used to. Yeah, people were confused, stating like Your Name was the highest grossing movie of that year. But simply put, this movie and Your Name actually are tiebreakers. Like they both won. They're both super high as the highest grossing films of 2016. Like both of them were, but Shin Godzilla kicked the starter higher. So I think this movie's not bad. Like I said, the directors are the guy. Like one of them is Everglade, and the other is the special effects director of the Heisei Gamera trilogy and special effects director of GMK. It's pretty great. I don't know why wasn't he like gifted credit for GMK special effects. That is bullshit. So music by Shido Sagisu. Most of his music are great. Most likely, Persecution of the Masses. I love that music. There's a little bit of Kira Fakube musics, like a few of them. So, Who Will Know by also, you know who I'm talking about. Perfect. It's so perfect. I love it. But Persecution of the Masses was this best one. The characters, I absolutely love these characters. Like I already talked about Rando. He's probably my second favorite character of the movie, because he is so smart and intelligent, and he's great. I mean, he's the main protagonist of the movie. But the thing is, he was second place because Kyoko tops him. Because Satomi Ishihara. Oh my god, I can't. Like I said, I fucking love her. She is so fucking great. She's basically my favorite female character of the Godzilla franchise. I just love her. I mean, if they made a sequel, they could have made a sequel or a cinematic universe that Toho could make, like what they did with the Showa. They would have brought these two back and give us more of a relationship for these two, because I want to see something like that. Maybe that could happen. I mean, but speaking of the sequel-wise, you guys really want me to talk about it. So, yes, I know that the sequel was Shin Godzilla 2 was never going to happen. They never even talked about it. Originally, they wanted to do it once Godzilla vs. Kong comes out, but now it seems unlikely because they never even planned on making a sequel, and it feels like it's never going to happen. So of course Toho is doing a Godzilla cinematic universe on their own way, and let the monster. But maybe when they let Legendary, they could do it while they just let Legendary could have their contract extend more, so they could do more of their shit. So while Toho will do theirs on their own while Legendary goes on, but would not release it in the US this time. Just maybe into direct DVD and Blu-ray, or maybe Netflix. I don't know. Just like what the shitty ones we got after this one. So, I mean, that's a problem right now, because I want to see these two characters again, honestly. But with that being said, let's talk about, well, just one monster. I mean, Shin himself. I think Shin looks pretty good. He's not my favorite Godzilla. I don't think he will be. I don't think he's he's not terrible either, but I mean, Shin Godzilla here, to me, he's not really like true Godzilla. He's more of a zombie. This is like a zombie Godzilla. In fact, it is true. He's a zombified version of the 1954 Godzilla, meaning, yeah, he looks too much like a zombie, and he looks terrifying. So it makes sense right there. I'm sure you guys think like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. But the first two forms, they're too silly. I hate it so bad. I never talked about the tail, honestly, but I think the tail looks pretty gross. So like NECA's version of Shin Godzilla. I mean, I already sold it, to be honest. I used to buy that figure, but the thing is that I sold it because I just want to save my money on other things. So I sold it. I'm not gonna buy another Shin Godzilla figure. I feel like, but the tail on NECA's version looks. It doesn't really had a good paint job. I think Monster Arts version had a good paint job with the tail, and even though Monster Arts version of Shin Godzilla is Monster Arts' #1 biggest stinker because it sucks. Yeah, Monster Arts did terrible with Shin Godzilla. It's probably the worst out of all of them. But the only good thing I could say is that the tail looks so painfully accurate than NECA's version. So that's basically legitimate. So yeah, NECA didn't do justice for that. But the Atomic Blast version with NECA's Shin Godzilla actually does look better. It does look better. And yes, both this one and NECA's Shin Godzillas are much more buyable than Monster Arts versions. So even though Monster Arts version of Atomic Blast Godzilla is pretty good, it's pretty good. I wish it would come with beam accessories, but fuck it, whatever. So with that being said, this guy is not even as good as Legendary Godzilla. Legendary Godzilla looks really accurate to what the classic Godzillas were meant to be. So that's all I could tell you guys about that. And that's all I could tell you about this movie. I don't think this movie is that bad. I really wish they could have made more of it. So, but with that being said, what I introduce to people who are not Godzilla fans, it's kind of complicated because I don't think that would work at all. I mean, this movie is meant for the people who made this movie. This is meant for Japan only. This is also, and yes, it's somewhat like, this movie is meant for Godzilla fans usually, but it's not really, like, it's not meant to be for the general public. Like, it never will be for the general public. I mean, of course, they wanted to bring back Godzilla. Its history repeats itself like what they did with Godzilla 2000 after that 98 Abomination. Even though Godzilla 2014 was was super successful, usually. So... So this movie is meant for not only Godzilla fans and Japan usually, but it's also meant for politicians, people who are so interested in politicians. That's what this movie is meant for. So, but with that being said, my rating for this movie, I give this movie an 8 out of 10. I don't think this movie is that bad, okay? I don't think it really is that bad. It is part of my top 10 favorite Godzilla movies. It's just not my number. It's never gonna be my #1. To be clearly honest, it never will be. So, yeah. Honestly, So 8 out of 10, and I'll see. And I think like we got 3 more episodes of Godzillathon, so that's good news. I got 3 more episodes to do, and then after that, it'll be over. Godzillathon would definitely be over. I'll be ready for King of the Monsters. All right, so. Be aware of this situation, okay? So I'll see you guys next time for what we look at the terrible, the excruciating anime trilogy that I am not excited to do, okay? So with that being said, this is SB Goju Fan.